Which one is more important? Is it your agency brand or your personal brand? That is what we're going to cover in the topic of this video today, because I see that there's quite a lot of agency owners or people who are thinking of starting an agency that want to hide behind their keyboard. They don't want to show their face. It's like they don't have one or something. And I'm going to tell you right now, I personally, if I'm going to invest into a founder who's starting an agency or already has an agency and they don't want to show their face, I would not invest in them. And we're going to get into why in this video. So this is a very important video. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We have over 300 videos on how to start and scale an agency. I have my own agency that does $130,000 to $160,000 per month, yada, yada, yada. A lot of social proof to help you continue to watch this video in case you're new to the channel. All right, so trick question, but not really a trick question. Your personal brand, ladies and gents, is more important, especially when you're starting out. I mean, this is just so key. Eventually, you can become Apple, and the brand of the company is actually more important than the personal brand. But in the early stages, Steve Jobs was very influential, and a lot of people were, emotionally attached to the founder, and da-da-da-da-da. And this is typically always the case with the company when starting out. Now, as you are starting your agency, it's important to realize this, because if you want to hide behind your keyboard and you don't want to show your face, or you want to show your face as little as possible, right? You don't want to get on camera, whatever it is. Okay, that's fine. Well, you're very limited, because we are no longer in a world where you can really do that and find large amounts of success unless you have the resources to hire people that could become the face of your company. Okay, but if you're bootstrapping your agency, you don't have millions of dollars, you have basically no money, like I did when I started my agency. I was 19 years old, had probably less than $2,000. I didn't have money to hire somebody to be the face of the company. I had to be the face. It gave me an edge over people that didn't want to show their face, etc. Okay, I was also very nervous in the beginning to show my face. A lot of imposter syndrome and other things. Anyways, here's why it's more important than your agency brand. Your personal brand, that is what people buy. They don't buy the name of your brand. So our agency is called Better AMS. People don't buy Better AMS and sign up for Better AMS services. They sign up because Taylor or Destiny or somebody in that company was influential enough to convince that person to consider working with Better AMS. It starts with a person. It always starts with a person. Okay, now think about marketing, right? Think about, doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing. Let's imagine you're doing cold calling. Okay, there's someone on the phone calling a prospect, a cold email. You're sending it from an email alias, which is you. There's a face attached to that email. If you're doing a blog post, someone wrote that blog post. If you are posting content on LinkedIn, it's directly tied to someone's name. So whatever type of marketing you're doing, as far as I'm concerned, there is no form of marketing in B2B. We're talking about an agency here. We're talking about an agency that does not have a face tied to it, okay? It is different in D2C. Now, again, if you want to hide behind your keyboard, you don't want to show your face, I recommend you get out of B2B and you go to D2C. Because D2C, you can build an e-com brand, you can run Facebook ads, you can drive it to a landing page. People, when they're buying a $20 product, they don't care about who made the product and the founder story and all this. But I can tell you with certainty that when someone pays $3,000 a month for a service, okay, $36,000 a year, maybe more, even just $1,000 per month, it's a much bigger emotional commitment. There's a lot more buy-in, and with that level of money, just with the fact that it's way more, it's not something that you could just like, oh, whatever, I'll get a refund, or I don't want it. It's like, this better work out. It's a large investment. There's going to be somebody that needs to convince that person. There's going to be someone that is going to have to be held accountable, right? It's different when you're buying a $20 product. So anyways, that's why it's so important. The personal brand is so important. And I'm very bullish on inbound marketing. Very, very bullish. So before we get into inbound marketing, why it's so damn important, I want to talk to you a little bit just about the highlights of everything we just talked about. So your personal brand, your agency brand, they're pretty much the same thing, but actually your personal brand is more important. That is really the core, okay? That is the core that people connect with. And as you scale and you become a billion-dollar company, okay, maybe your agency brand becomes worth more weight than the person, the founder that started it, or that face that started it, right? So like you can think of Ogilvy and Mathers, like David Ogilvy, his agency, it's so iconic, but like he's dead, I think, and it's no longer really just tied to him. It's just tied to this iconic agency that's massive and has driven results for over 100 years, whatever it is. Okay, so your personal brand, more important. I don't recommend you hide behind your keyboard. Okay, let's move on. Inbound marketing. This is really something that drives personal brand to scale, right? So if you almost got to look at your personal brand as this like flywheel. The more followers you can obtain that are people that match your ICP, and the more you can continue to pump out high quality content and build your thought leadership, the more likely you are to scale much faster than all your competitors. Okay, so this is our whole like mindset and strategy for scaling our own agency. We're very bullish on inbound marketing and building personal brands. Now, we have one person in particular in our company who's the CEO of our agency, and she's built a very good personal brand, and she has become a thought leader in our industry. We have several other people in our agency now, and their personal brands are taking off, and it's really fucking exciting because I can only imagine what the lead flow is going to look like when we have not just one person, but 3 to 4 people that are, thought leaders in our industry within our company, right? You can only imagine how much that would increase the lead flow. So when you do outbound marketing, it doesn't build your personal brand, but it can if you look at it in a certain way. So outbound marketing, most people, if they're doing outbound marketing, they're just cold calling or cold emailing. Now, when you do a cold call, it's kind of a one and done. There's no half-life to it, right? So what does that mean? What do I mean by there's no half-life? Like, you do the cold call, cool. The person picks up, they say they're not interested. Okay, that's it. They're done. They're never going to hear from you again. You're not connected with them somewhere at some point in time. It's immediate disconnect. But, ladies and gents, if you're doing an outbound marketing system or approach that incorporates a connection with the prospect on a social platform, such as LinkedIn, such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, some type of social media platform, okay, that's a little bit different because now they will continue to see your stuff and hear from you, assuming you're putting out content consistently. And so when you look at outbound marketing, I think that yes, it's important because we want to constantly be sourcing ICPs, ideal client profiles, every day. And we want to be connecting with them. And we ideally want to send them some value in the process, but not expect them to become a client immediately after we reach out to them once. And I think too many people are kind of like short-sighted and they have myopia and they think that, oh man, like I sent 500 looms and I did 500 cold calls. I did 500 email outreaches and I only got 3 calls. None of them closed. And it's like, well, okay. And have you connected with them on social? Have you been putting out content every week? Have you been nurturing these people? Do you realize that marriage doesn't usually happen overnight, right? And it's kind of funny for me to say this because when I started my agency, you guys, ladies, gents, I was very lucky. When you're in a blue ocean, you can send that cold email and you can get a client worth $2,000 to $3,000 per month overnight, and that can happen, but it's still like less than 2 to 3% of all the cold emails you send, right? So if you send like 1,000 cold emails, is certainly you're probably going to have the opportunity to sign maybe 10 clients, maybe 20 in a vastly blue ocean that's an exploding market. That's what I experienced. I was really lucky. Now, hindsight, looking back, I can tell you with certainty that's not normal, and that when you approach outbound marketing, I recommend a hybrid approach of also incorporating inbound because we want you to build your personal brand. Okay, so that's why it's so important to realize that the personal brand matters more than the agency brand. The agency brand is nothing without the personal brand, especially when you're starting out. All right, ladies and gents, if you found value in this video, fantastic. There should be a link in the description where you could potentially hop on a call with me if you have an agency that's doing over $10,000 per month. I would be happy to give you a free audit of your agency to figure out what is the biggest bottlenecks holding you back from scaling your agency. So if you're doing 20, 30, 40,000 a month, you want to get to 50, 60, 70, 100,000, 120, 130, 150, fantastic. Our agency is doing between 130, 160. I can probably help you figure out what is the bottleneck that's preventing you from getting there. I can't help you to get to 250. We've never done it. So that's it. All right, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed this video. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Ciao. Hey friend, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to watch another one that's extremely valuable, I just selected it for you, and you can check it out by clicking it right there on the other side of the screen across from my face. All right, friend, enjoy. Thanks for watching the channel.